I am going to tell you today about my hero. My hero is my mother. She was a child of the 60s in the Netherlands, which meant that before she got me, and she was 25 when she had me, she had squatted many buildings. She had opened up the first meditation and yoga center in The Hague. She had opened up her own restaurant of vegetarian organic food that they were growing on their own farm, and that people were just waiting outside in line to get in and to eat there. Having a mother like this and living in a time where, because of her and her friends, what they did for my society, I was growing up in a perfect country. We had spiritual freedom. I went to Waldorf school with all my friends. I can't remember that we had anything to fight for. Life was absolutely perfect. I had a beautiful community around me that supported me. And I always knew that I had to thank my mother for that. And then I decided to move to Slovakia, and my mother visited me here. And she had a little bit of... She did not really connect to Slovakia, and she did not really connect to what she saw here. But she was positive about a few things, and she said, wow, Slovakia, in contrary to the overcrowded and overdeveloped Netherlands, is a country that can really take care of its own agricultural production. So she felt safe that I lived in a country that could really take care of itself in a time of crisis. You're all laughing. And that has a reason, because you don't believe that your country is capable of something like that. And this is a truth that I did not want to tell my mom, because I didn't want to worry her. Because I should tell my mom, no, mom, I live in a country where like the majority of people grew up within socialism, and they don't believe that there's a chance to change things for the better, because after socialism there came corruption for 20 years, and that most people are just burying their heads in the sand as they saw their mothers and their grandmothers do, and that they don't believe that you can change anything because there's just a few people in power just grab everything they can whenever they can, and leaving very little for the weakest in society, for healthcare, for instance, and taking care of old people. Was I going to tell my mom this? No, I didn't tell her this, because I told her what the reason is why I do live in Slovakia. And the reason that I live in Slovakia is that I met from the first second, the first person that I met in Slovakia that really opened her heart for me was Betty Majerenková. I was surrounded by people that were just amazing, you know, that I could see that despite of all this shit, all this, a country that does not really work in like a perfect way, in the way that I knew society and a community, they just do what they love, despite of everything, and they would fight for that, what they wanted to do. And I told her how great inspiration that is for me. The next time I saw my mom, I had to go to her, because she was very sick and she could not leave her own bedroom. She had cancer. And this was an amazing time. I have to say that this was a great gift to have to be able to spend this time with my mom. And we used to sit, and I used to massage her feet or her back. And one day we were just kind of cuddling and sitting, and she told me, like, Illah, just out of the blue, I have to thank you. I have to thank you for the fact that you were born. And I looked at her and he said, yes, because you were born, I learned what is most important in life. And that is unconditional love and patience. 2 years later, no, of course she died. Maybe a month later. And she died thanks to the amazing healthcare system in the Netherlands, in this own bedroom, with her own surroundings, with her own family around her, with flowers every day. And we were able to take care of her in her own bed. We took night shifts and day shifts, and we had sisters coming and doctors coming and taking care of her and giving her medicines. So she died in the most wonderful way. And 2 years later, I was in a Slovak hospital. And I gave birth to a really beautiful, beautiful little girl called Meda. But instead of feeling this love and patience, I was so angry and I was so disappointed. Because what happened was that during my labor, the nurses and the doctors, they were like grumpy. They were like yelling at me and putting me weird questions. And the doctors, they all of a sudden, they just looked on their watch and they said, okay, it's time. We're going to take the baby and we're going to do a cesarean on you. Something that I agreed before that was really the last thing. And they gave me complete anesthesia and they let me in a bed for 4 hours when I woke up without telling me if I have a baby or not. So I was furious because I could not explain to myself why the hell I was living in Slovakia. Why the hell? Like, what came to my mind that I want to have a child in this country and raise it here? And I fell out of my bubble of this beautiful positiveness that I had from the beginning of all these people that I met. And I fell like into the hard reality of this life that all of you here have experienced in some way in this country. And I realized at that moment that I had to make a decision. Either I'm going to get the hell out of here, or I'm going to do something. But what can I do? I'm a photographer. I work, my field is the public space. I made some nice books and I'm telling everybody like, hey man, these billboards, we really don't need them. But is that going to make a better world? I don't know. And one day, I was sitting with my friend Barbara Zawarska, and she's responsible for taking Pecha Kucha, for instance, to Slovakia. And we were talking, and we were complaining about Bratislava. And all of a sudden, we came to this really simple and small plan. And we said, we love markets. We miss a market here. So we're going to make a market. So we came up, we were thinking, like, okay, what shall we do? Well, Panenska ulica is perfect. It's in the center, it's beautiful, beautiful street. Okay, it's one-way street, so we can close it off there. And who is there? You have their beautiful cafe, there's a church, they have a garden, there's a hostel, there's some shops, there's some design, there's some jewelry store. Okay, let's do it there. And we started by making a research in the neighborhood by questionnaire and asking people, like, can you imagine to have a market in your street? And they said, no. Well, and then I asked them, like, would you like to have a market in your street? And they said, yes. So I learned one thing. If Slovaks say that something is not possible, you should do it. And what happened was really amazing. The city was absolutely cooperative. We founded a Facebook page, and that was it. All of a sudden, people were calling me. Everybody was calling me. I was on vacation, and this guy called me, and he said, hi, I'm Hoisik. We don't know each other, but do you need help? And I said, what do you do? He said, I work for Greenpeace. I said, well, I don't know. I need a farmer that's going to sell vegetables on the market. And he said, okay, give me 2 days. And the lady from the jewelry store, she said, hey, I have a band. I'll get my boys together, and we'll play. And I remember in the morning, I was standing in the street, and it was completely silent and empty, except for the stands and these people who were putting the boxes and the things onto the stands. And there was this guy called Michal, Giraffe Bakery, and he started that day his business, first time with his girlfriend, and they bake little cupcakes. And he was like, I couldn't sleep last night because I baked 700 cupcakes, and I'm afraid I'm going to take them home tonight. And all these things were happening, and all of a sudden people started to come, and it started to stream full with people. And all of a sudden there was this crowd that just did not stop. And everybody of you here who have been there on this first market, they know the feeling, because it was really amazing. And I would see the same people at 11 o'clock, and I would see them at 2 o'clock still. And they would be chatting and hanging out, their kids were playing, they were drinking or buying or whatever, and meeting friends, dancing. And at 2 o'clock, I remember I looked at Michal, and they were like sitting there with all these empty boxes around them, and they were like, we sold everything. And that was exactly the moment that I felt Slovakia is hungry. It's hungry Real things, real people that meet in real life, meeting real friends, or 2 or 5 or 6 at the same day. What can be better than that? Real food, good food, local foods, you know, real wine that's made in your region, real bread that is like heavy and you can squeeze it and nothing happens to it, you know? And this is when I realized that I had created my bubble. I had not fallen out of my bubble or gone away from it, but I had taken this bubble and I had just like invited all of you in it. and all these people just like came and this bubble just grew and grew and grew and the bubble became a hub, actually a place for all these people to meet and to do something and to do the thing that they love. Because I realized that these nurses and these doctors in these hospitals, they don't do what they love. Or they stop doing what they love at some point, you know. And I understand that's very difficult. I mean, if you want to support local people and local producers of local things, these are people that do things with love and do what they love. But it's not going to be easy all this time. I mean, I created this market and I created work for me that I love, but last time it was really not funny. There were some things going wrong and I went home and I was really like depressed. I was so sad. And then in the morning I woke up and I saw on my table I saw this bag and I opened up the bag and I saw this bread. I mean, like, sorry, but you know, it's an organic bread that is made in Modra, you know, and I saw this pot of honey that was made by family, where the mother and the grandmother were selling it, and the son was on the farm, and the daughter was in the shop that they just opened in the center. And I saw this wine of these young kids that are renewing the winery of their parents that was destroyed during socialism. And then I found another thing, and I found a book of this homeless guy that actually came to us in the market, and he paid us for his place where he was selling his book, and he gave us his book. And he wrote us, Illah and Barbara, I am wishing you a lot of smiles, health, and sometimes a full wallet. And I realized, yes, this is it, you know? Like, all that I can do is creating an environment where the people that do what they love, to stimulate them to keep doing what they love and to keep loving what they do. And I remembered, like, this is what my mom was trying to tell me. It's like in a marriage, it's the same with work. It's the same with everything that you do. Because you can do what you love, you can marry the man you love, but it's not always going to be easy. So you need patience and unconditional love to keep loving this person, to keep doing this, what you do. So this is what I can have as a gift to Slovakia, and a gift that I'm doing together actually with all these people who are constantly calling me that they want to do something and perform or sell something. Still, every day, people are calling me and writing me. And I realized that this is what I can do to help to create a society that I am confident that my daughter will feel very good in and will feel that it's really normal to have this kind of luxury. And I'm very grateful for that. And I want to thank for this beautiful bag, because this work made me understand what my mother was trying to tell me.